This is Red Carpet Fly's News on the Fly, bringing you daily, unique, and interesting entertainment, celebrity, and luxury news. Before we get started, you know what to do. Like, follow, and subscribe to Red Carpet Fly, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single News on the Fly episode. Guys, I'm not gonna lie to you, I am so tired. This week has been crazy, and it's only going to get crazier because it's Oscar weekend! Anyways, let's get into these headlines. Goldman Sachs offers its first OTC crypto trade. Goldman Sachs Group Inc. executed its first over-the-counter crypto option trade, a further step in its expansion of digital asset offers to Wall Street investors. According to a Bloomberg article, the bank traded a non-deliverable Bitcoin option, a derivative tied to Bitcoin's price that pays out in cash, it said in a statement. The transaction was facilitated by Galaxy Digital Holdings Limited, a crypto financial services firm started by former Goldman partner Michael Novogratz. Options are used by crypto investors to hedge risk or boost yields, and over-the-counter transactions are typically larger trades negotiated privately. The move marks the first of such transactions by major banks in the U.S., Galaxy said. It expects the trade to open the door for other banks considering OTC as a conduit for trading digital assets, Damian Vanderwilt, co-president and head of global markets at Galaxy, said in a statement. For years after its creation in 2009, Bitcoin was shunned by Wall Street banks. Large banks aren't active in the crypto spot market, handicapped by regulatory uncertainty and know your customer rules. But some banks, including Goldman, are exploring more crypto derivatives trading, Bloomberg News has reported. If you think of crypto today, part of the concern of the sector is that most of the players in the sector are not players that are familiar to regulators or politicians, Vanderwilt said in an interview. What helps is for regulators and government to see that firms like Goldman, that they know and trust for decades, are also going to be participants. Last year, Goldman opened up trading of non-deliverable forwards, a derivative tied to Bitcoin's price that settles in cash. It also offers exchange-listed options and future trading in Bitcoin and Ether. Galaxy also provided liquidity for Goldman's first CME Bitcoin futures trade last year. It is an important development in our digital assets capability for the broader evolution of the asset class, Max Minton, Goldman Sachs Asia Pacific head of digital assets, said. So we haven't talked about cryptocurrency in a while, but you guys should know that I'm going to throw it in the lineup at some point. So to be honest, I have worked for different investment firms and hedge funds, and I am not a financial analyst, and only part of this story made sense to me. But the most important part you should take away from this is that cryptocurrency is now moving away from some fringe tech trend and is starting to become a major player. Now, banks like Goldman are entering the space. It gives cryptocurrency more credibility. Since Goldman did this, I think more financial institutions will follow suit. It just takes one to break the ice and venture into this new and unfamiliar territory. So you guys may be asking yourself, why does Lexi keep reporting on this stuff? I don't care about cryptocurrency or anything like that. I do this, guys, because I report on celebrities and luxury. And I have noticed a huge number of celebrities and very wealthy individuals hopping on this cryptocurrency train. And I don't want you guys to get left behind. Because I love you guys, I'm going to keep weaving these stories in with the rest of the entertainment news because you guys got to stay in the know. Diversity is the right thing to do and key to Hollywood's survival, a new study shows. So, according to a HuffPost article, Hollywood needs diversity, not just because it's the right thing to do, but because people of color are the key to the movie industry's economic survival, according to the latest edition of the Hollywood Diversity Report released Thursday. The annual series of reports, led by UCLA researchers Darnell Hunt and Anna Cristina Ramon, has consistently shown how diversity is essential to Hollywood's bottom line. In other words, not prioritizing diversity means leaving money on the table. People of color continue to make up the lion's share of moviegoers, for the most part for popular movies, both in theaters and at home via streaming services. In addition, movies with diverse casts tend to perform better at the box office and generate more engagement on social media than movies with predominantly white casts. On multiple fronts, people of color hold immense power in ensuring Hollywood's economic future. 2021, the second year of the COVID-19 pandemic, marked a gradual and uneven return to the movies for many Americans. But consistent with the researchers' previous findings, this year's report concluded that people of color drove movie ticket sales in the U.S., making up the majority of opening weekend moviegoers for 6 of the year's top 10 films based on global box office earnings. People of color have similar power on major streaming platforms. platforms. With the pandemic accelerating the trend of big movies launching on streaming services in 2021, households of color dominated the viewing audience for each of the year's top 10 streaming films. Another pattern that the UCLA team has consistently documented is how much audiences want to see movies that reflect diversity of the U.S. population. Once again, in 2021, the researchers found that films with casts that were fairly diverse, composed of at least 21% to 30% of people of color, delivered the highest median global box office earnings. In addition, 8 of the top 10 highest earning movies of 2021 featured casts that consisted more than 30% of people of color. Further cementing the importance of diversity for Hollywood's bottom line, movies with the least diverse cast, consisting of fewer than 11% of people of color, perform the poorest at the box office. While they consistently show up to the movies, people of color are still underrepresented relative to their proportion of the U.S. population. Most glaring, Latinx people, who make up nearly 20% of the U.S. population, remain extremely underrepresented both in front of and behind the camera. They make up just 7.1% of leads in popular movies, 7.7% of movies' overall cast, and 5.6% of writers, and 7.1% of directors, according to the report. Middle Eastern and North African MENA audiences are also severely underrepresented, making up just 1.1% of top movies' overall cast, 2.8% of writers, 1.6% of directors, and none of the lead actors. Native Americans are virtually invisible in the year's top films, both in front of and behind the camera, the researchers found. Behind the camera, movies directed by women and people of color still tend to be undervalued, according to the report. The researchers warned that some of their findings raised the question of whether the industry may be relegating women directors and directors of color to movies where their identities are the primary theme or primary driver of the plot. When comparing budgets, women and people of color are more likely to direct a low-budget movie than white male directors. In both 2020 and 2021, films with female leads tend to have smaller budgets than those with white male leads, according to the report. However, and perhaps an encouraging sign, films with leads of color in 2021 tended to have budgets similar to those starring white actors, which is an improvement from 2020. Awards like the Oscars remain influential in getting audiences to notice movies that may have otherwise gone unseen, as well as influencing what movies get made in the future. For the first time in 9 years of the study, the majority of the Oscar-winning films at last year's Oscars were directed by people of color: Judas and the Black Messiah, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Minari, Nomadland, and Soul. In addition, a majority also featured leads of color: Judas and the Black Messiah, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Minari, Soul, Sound of Metal, and Tenet. This year's Oscars on Sunday are not likely to match last year's landmark wins, showing that progress is a long process. Likely, the researchers caution that it's hard to tell whether some of the progress made over the last 2 years was a product of the pandemic or evidence of true sustainable change. Whatever happens, the report, as well as similar findings from other researchers, offers incontrovertible evidence that diversity is vital to Hollywood's bottom line. Research and data should dispel any remaining Hollywood myths that prioritizing diversity both in front of and behind the camera is a gamble and doesn't sell, or that the default moviegoer is white, or that massively popular movies by and about people of color is simply a fluke. For Hollywood, an often risk-adverse industry fueled by economic decisions, diversity should not only be a moral imperative, but, as the researchers wrote, a first order of business imperative for the film industry. You know, I think moviegoers like to go to the movies as some form of escapism, but they still want to see diversity. You know what I mean? While I'm happy to see that women and people of color are directing, I don't just want them directing diversity films. You know what I'm saying? Like, I identify as many things, right? I'm a woman, I'm a black person, I'm a sister, I'm a daughter, I'm an American. So my experience and storytelling as a human being shouldn't be relegated to just black storytelling. While I can do that, I can do other things and tell other stories as well. I see Ava DuVernay has been doing that. I've been watching HBO's The DMZ, and this story mainly focuses on a Latin family, but Ava is the director. I believe she can direct a show like this because she has more experiences than just the black experience, right? And you guys should really check out the DMZ. I really like it. Sometimes I feel like I live in the DMZ here in LA with this crime wave that we've been experiencing, but I digress. But I totally agree with this article. Diversity in film and in the film industry should no longer be seen as a risky choice, but an essential one. And I never really put any thought into like the award shows like the Oscars, having like a real influence on the film industry. But just reading this article, being nominated or getting an Oscar award really kind of dictate what stories get told. So that was an interesting little fun fact. What do you guys think? Comment below and let me know. Michael Jackson's son, Prince, celebrates 5th anniversary with girlfriend Molly Schurman. According to E! News, the son of late Michael Jackson took to Instagram on March 23rd to mark his 5th anniversary with his love. 5 years together, Prince wrote alongside a series of photos of the couple from over the years. Lots of trips, miles, smiles, meals, desserts, and all kinds of adventures in between. Love you, babes. His famous family members also sent along sweet messages. Congrats on 5, Prince's Aunt LaToya Jackson wrote in the comment section. Sending you guys much love, his cousins TJ Jackson and Terrell Jackson, sons of Tito Jackson, posted heart emojis too. While Prince has mostly kept his relationship with Molly private, he has shared a few rare photos of the duo on Instagram before. For instance, he posted snaps of them dressed up as Dwayne Johnson and Emily Blunt's characters from the Jungle Cruise for his Thriller Nights Halloween costume party, which benefits the Heal Los Angeles Foundation in November, as well as a pic of them sharing a smooch on a dock in June. Over the years, he's also captured them celebrating major moments, including college graduations, birthday, trips, and more. I've grown and learned so much with you, and I'm so lucky to be able to go on all of our adventures together, Prince wrote on Instagram for their 4th anniversary last year. It's so cool to see all the places we've been together and all the crazy stuff we do, usually revolving around food. I love you, baby. Happy 4 years. In addition, Prince and Molly have walked carpets together, including the one for the Los Angeles Dodgers Foundation's Blue Diamond Gala in 2019. But their favorite date nights are low-key. She likes the beach, Prince told People in 2018. I like movies. Prince told the magazine that the two are complementary in a way that balance each other out, and that Molly encourages him to see things through a different light. As he puts it, it helps us stay well-rounded. Maybe this is an unpopular opinion, but I think the Jackson kids came out pretty normal. Paris and Prince seem very well adjusted and they're living their lives, and even Blanket is doing well. I read an article or something the other day that said he was in college. Seeing the eccentric life that Michael Jackson lived, I thought for sure these kids would have had some eccentricities, but nope, they seem, for lack of a better word, just normal. I wonder if Michael was still alive and had raised his kids, would they have turned out this way? Well, that's it for Red Carpet Fly's News on the Fly. Please like, follow, subscribe, and share our YouTube channel, Red Carpet Fly, and also follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Red Carpet Fly. And until tomorrow, always stay fly.